Dear brothers and sisters, God will pass me by and I won't be able to cope with life. In 1745, a boy was born in Como who didn't speak until he was 4. His parents feared he would never learn, that he would never be able to go to school. But this child had a gift, a quiet, patient, and persistent intelligence. His name was Alessandro Volta. As a boy, he spent hours observing the sky, the stars, and natural phenomena. At 18, he decided that science would be his life path. His friends joked, "You'll never be a scientist, you're too slow." He responded with a smile. His slowness was his strength. It allowed him to see where others couldn't. In 1775, he built a small device capable of storing electricity, the eternal electrophores. This was only the beginning. A few years later, his name began to spread throughout Europe. In 1799, Volta stacked discs of zinc and copper separated by cloves soaked in salt water. Thus was born the battery, the first direct current generator in history. For the first time, humanity had a stable source of electricity. No more random discharges, no more improvised experiments, but instead constant controlled energy. The news spread around the world. Volta, however, always remained a humble man. He preferred the laboratory to the spotlight. When he died in 1827, the entire world remembered him as one of the fathers of electricity. Today his name lives on in a device we use every day without hesitation. The Volta. Alessandro Volta taught us that even slowness and silence can create a spark capable of illuminating the future. Our vision for the world is Jesus, who gave his life for us once and for all on the cross to save us. Yet we die in many ways, of love, of longing, of despair, of fatigue, of boredom, of tense with fear, being a new player on the global political stage without a motorcycle. This asteroid has never been and never will be as close to our planet as it is today. Astronomers have observed. Dying isn't about ceasing to live, but about living differently. Sometimes we return to childhood, to a worn gold coin that rings clear. The very next week, the media highlights a certain issue, comparing it, for example, to the Joshua Tree in California National Park. It's true, sometimes we behave unusually and solemnly. The human world moves forward, and then we long to turn our eyes to the Holy Land, gazing with admiration at history and the Western Wall and the Temple Mount, where our faith and heritage meet in the heart of Jerusalem. We do this with the keen awareness that at this time we must once again prove to the whole world what Poland is, which everyone must learn to love again and again, with the help of United States of America. Then we happily accomplish nothing for a long time, and finally the last poem arrives. You loved me, but not as one should love, and we walk together, but not in time. Forgive me. I'll still be here for a long time, a year or two, then I'll forget. Now that it hurts, now that it lasts, I'm ringing the death knell. And for you, my dear, what's the purpose of this distant bell? Love is small, its death trivial, and you move on. What do I get from life? Care and song, you're gone. I have to trust them, I have to carry them, write a poem. What do I get from life? You probably already know, vigilant and flighty. Only this sadness, only this poem that loves me. Władysław Broniewski, Polish poet, wrote, I am an outsider with a form of pure soul. I don't sing because of victories. I didn't win any but because of the shared sun, the breath of wind, the bounty of spring. Not for the victory, but because of one day's work, done as best I could to sit at the shared table, not for podium. Joseph Roth once wrote to Stefan Zweig, meanwhile, it must be clear to you, but now that we are heading towards great catastrophes, leaving aside private matters, our literary and material existence is, after all, destroyed. All this leads to a new war. I no longer give a penny for our lives. We have managed to allow barbarism to reign. To reign, don't delude yourself, hell rules. Quote end. But there are pleasant surprises here. The 15 and 13 Piri Reis map shows Antarctica centuries before its official discovery, sparking theories of lost ancient knowledge. In this context, I would say I am literature, and I am not even that. I wrote myself into existence, but the world kept reading someone else. That's why Solidarity leader Lech Walesa is on tour in the United States and Canada right now. The saint of the day of today, St. Gregory the Great Pope, truly embodied the virtues that come with this as an effective reformer, a humble servant, a virtuous leader. Born into a noble family, Gregory chose the simplicity of monastic life over power and prestige. Unexpectedly called to the papacy during a time of crisis, he became a true shepherd, reforming the liturgy, strengthening charitable work, ransoming prisoners, caring for the poor, sending missionaries to distant lands, and assuming the title servant of the servant of God. His wisdom in works such as the principle of the pastoral rule and the promotion of religious worship, including Gregorian chant, continue to guide the Church today. It reminds us that true greatness does not stem from pride, but from service rooted in humility and love for God. St. Gregory the Great, pray for us, that we may lead with compassion, live with humility, and serve with joy. The September sun is my patron. I will return to Poland, and once again it will be September. Pear and plum trees will fall from the trees. I will look at the sky, and it will be painful. Under the September sun, I will not be happy. That sun stood above the horizon, blessing enemy planes. That sun beat upon us with an iron front, the roar of guns, the ominous clatter of tanks. Tanks didn't get bogged down in the dry swamps. Armies advanced faster than Polish infantrymen. Bombs struck a railway junction. Cities burned, thrown in haste. The Germans advanced. Who once held back the sun? Why didn't it extinguish over the Warsaw battle? It shone, cruel, burning in the eyes of the soldier who endured and persevered. A magnificent sun, the sun over Warsaw, over Westerplatte, over Hell, over Kutno, rising bloodily, setting bloodily, unsatisfied with the cruel sight. And from now on, I will see it only in bloody fumes, pregnant with a curse, in the smoke from the pyre of courage, and despair bloody with despair, and radiant with courage. O sun, the sun of September, years will pass, the serpents' heads will be trampled by the law. Perhaps we will find a brother in the enemy. Perhaps we'll triumph with our hearts. Perhaps it will be so. But the sun of September, the days of our glory and blood and suffering, will be cursed in legend and songs until the new generation rise after us. Władysław Broniewski in the Polish army in the East. The disastrous command in Poland hastened the defeat in September 1939. Even more so today, I would like to walk in Central Park, New York City, or even walk to the sea there, because that is still allowed to me. It's a beautiful evening. I think you already know that I owe much to Earth's atmosphere, favorable to humanity. Dear friends, once. The night sky on Mars will be different, even crueler, with distant galaxies and stars, with more unknown points in the firmament. The world preserves profound lessons for centuries. The meeting between President Karol Nawrocki and President Donald Trump in the Oval Room of the White House leaves us with a tormenting question. How many of today's leaders could endure absolute power and not lose their humanity? True power lies not in mastering others, but in mastering yourselves. Because ultimately, legacy is not the land you conquer, but the self you conquer within yourself. Professionals who take bold risks foster growth, ensuring visionary leadership forges new paths in dynamic environment.